Okay, welcome to the Mike Z Impromptu Thanksgiving Day special. It's early. I've been up since 5:45 this morning doing laundry. This is my Mike Z Wonder Bench. If you guys haven't seen this before, I can do all these workouts with it and flip it over, use it as push-up bars. It's got little finger holes that I put in the end here, and it's amazing. I sit on it all the time, and I use this for all sorts of things. I love it. What I'm using for right now is putting my laundry basket up here, and I'm gonna fold my laundry, kill two birds with one stone here while we're talking. A lot of stuff on my mind, and being Thanksgiving, I just figured you guys have been great to me. So let me keep giving more to you, and that's why I'm doing it. Because I'm thankful for you guys, to be honest with you. Again, I live alone, work alone, all that. I'm very thankful for the people in my life, the people that love me, and all that. Even though I don't talk to enough of them on a regular basis, there's just too many of them. I've been thinking about Dave. Dave, you watching this? Happy Thanksgiving, man. I got to give you a call. Sorry. Oh, there's another Dave, actually. I'll mention his name because it's a cool name. Dave Sepulveda. Dude, you've been emailing me. I told you I'd call you. You want me to make you a watch band and all that. And I guess you sent this to like nudge me along. This is a subscriber sent me this. Now, it's a very nice thing. You did not have to do this. I'm sure at some point I'll use it. I don't know though, but it's a very cool thing. It's called a Fuel King. It's a refillable fuel canister, propane, for your heaters and whatnot. This here's the thing that you use to work with a regular, a larger container will fill this container, and that's just a really neat thing. Super cool. Thank you, dude. I'll call you. Send me another email. There's too many. I get too many emails. As a matter of fact, I got a stack of stuff here. I got to do videos on. So the Woo Band company with the flashlights sent me two more different new ones. They're supposed to be sending me two new versions of the one I reviewed already, the X2 Pro. That worked. That was a prototype. And then the Roxy Vaughn people sent me another light. So you'll see videos on that. Quick note on that. Funny comments. This video is going to be addressing comments, and I think for another part where this channel is going to be heading, for those who haven't noticed it yet, I'm not up, how do I put this? If I'm going to do a product review, it's like an unboxing and first impressions. I don't know everything about it. I don't need to know everything about it. Those reviews where they're like shot perfect and the guy has all the knowledge about the product, like he works for the company or something, that's like a full-blown commercial for the company. That's a great thing to do. I think it's cool. I'm sure that those companies love that. My thing is I'm just some dude getting a gadget, have no idea what it is and how it works really, and I'm figuring out in front of you without looking at instructions or anything, because that's funny to me. I think it's funny, and I think I mentioned this earlier in another video, but I think it's a sign of a product, how good it is, uh, when you could just take it out of the box and it's so user friendly that you can just use it, start using it without knowing, without having to look at the instructions. And I like being goofy and I like doing things incorrectly on purpose to prove it doesn't matter. So that's where we're at. This is where I always fold my laundry. Normally I'm standing here and this is there and I'm facing this way, but because there's some light coming in here, figure you guys might want to see that. Check this out. I found this. This is the old, I mentioned this in a video recently. This is my old Patagonia. This is a sea kayaking jacket from the 1980s. It's waterproof. You seal yourself into a sea kayak with this thing. But I've been using, I got this on a deal. Everything is on a deal, man. I'm thrifty. In New Jersey, back in the day, and this is what I wore when I was climbing mountains and hiking and camping in wintertime and inclement weather, and wore this in the winters at the Jersey Shore, walking up and down the boardwalk in major storms. And it's just nice to have a high visibility thing. Although this has been in a closet for years, I just wiped a bunch of dust off of it. It's got a little discoloration on the pocket here, but it's still in really good shape. And it's a vintage 1980s Patagonia thing. I don't know. thought you guys would get a kick out of that. I guess we'll talk about my laundry a little bit here while we're talking about everything else. Check these things out. Double need. I got these at a thrift store in Arizona down the street from my house for $3, $4. Real heavy denim. And the only thing I don't like are the buttons for the suspenders, which I'll never use. I should probably take those off. They're called Tough Duck. Anyhow, as I was saying, I'm thankful that you guys are here. Thank you so much. I did a video the other day, yesterday. I don't even know when I did it, but it was prompted by a comment in the comments section. It was when I was making the boxes for the Toyota thing. I feel like I could just talk about the laundry. Jesus. That's where the channel's going to a certain degree, because it's a great thing. I like the comments, and these hang, so I don't have to fold these. Made in the USA. Stan Ray, painter style pants, carpenter pants. They're kind of like clown pants. I can't wear these with my hat. You guys remember that hat that I had here? Get off of there. There you go. Because it matches. If I start wearing this, then I might as well put a clown nose on and be selling balloons out in front of, out on the street there. At any rate, quite a few of you have left comments that have inspired the videos. Thank you for that, because I think it's fun and it's the best way for me to interact with you. My demeanor, the way I speak sometimes in the video, might make it seem like I'm like, what the hell, or whatever. And then the comments I get underneath the video I'm doing that was based on a comment, some of those comments are taking the way that I'm speaking in the wrong way. Like they're making it sound like I think that the person that made the comment that I'm reacting to was a hater, and that is not the case. Although, there was a recent comment in one of the videos where it's a very strange one. It was, I think this is a guy who asked me a question as a comment in another video earlier, whether or not I had a business license, and I said no. So now he's kind of attacking anything I do with the woodworking. It's like, you don't have a business license, you got no skills, what you're doing is high school level, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, well, that's an interesting thing. My first reaction was my adrenaline peaked for a moment, because Smith & Hawken from the 1990s, canvas shirt, triple needle stitching, bone or nut buttons. Great shirt, hardly ever wore it, started wearing it to work. Anyhow, he left that comment, and I thought about it, and I answered him. I said, well, you're basing that on what you're seeing right there in that video, you know, making these boxes. You clearly haven't looked me up, because not that I'm some big deal, but you can look up Mike Z Design. You can find the website, you can, there's been a lot of Thrill List, the Larchmont Buzz, 2 or 3 other, at least, well, 1 or 2 other online publications have done articles on me as a craftsman. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've done a lot of high-end art furniture that I've sold for, you know, quite a bit of money over the years. That's kind of my thing, right? And then I thought, and I went on my page, and I've got a playlist with woodworking, and I found 2 videos that were pretty short that show 2 specific clients that I've done a lot of work for. That is in the genre of higher end work. Just to prove, you know. And then I thought about it, and I went on my Facebook page, the Mike Z Design Facebook page, Thinker Thunker, and there's so many picture folders there. And every once in a while, I've got to go back in there and look at my stuff to remind myself what it is that I'm capable of, because you forget. You know, I'm not just doing high-end furniture all the time. I got to do whatever I got to do to pay the bills. Excuse me. Um, and I say it all the time. I don't like working that much. You know, and so I try not to. I try to work the least amount as possible so I can do all the other things I want to do, which is all crafty stuff anyhow. That also tends to bring in some income. Swim Shop, check those guys out. And but I thought, you know, for the channel, I think that that would be a fun thing. So I think this Sunday night will be the first time I do it, and then I'll do it separately. It won't be a Sunday night thing. I'll use the Sunday night chat video to introduce the idea, which is going to be, I'm going to go to that page. I'm going to try to set the camera up. It'll be low tech. I want to try to set the camera up looking at the computer screen so I can cycle through the pictures. Because I used to do pretty complete picture folders of the work, and it's been so long since I've done a lot of that work that I think it'd be fun to rediscover it with you and look at the images and try to remember why I did it the way I did it and explain what you're seeing in the photograph. And then that'll be a great way for me to have a showcase of the quality work I've done over the decades. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea. And when I bend over, I notice in the videos I have like this bald spot happen in here. It looks way worse on video. If I look at it in the mirror, you don't even see it. It's something about the reflective nature of light on your scalp when it's sparsely populated there, and I am a little sensitive about it. What are you going to do? You know, I don't have the money to do anything about it. If I had the coin, I'd do what is it? Those injections, oh, wait. Let me show that one to you. Temecula transmission. I broke down driving out to Arizona a year or two ago. These guys were so good. They took care of me. Didn't actually work. I had to go, but I went back to them to get it right. That was after I went to Hooper's that did the work. Never go to them. Hooper's Rand's, horrible place. When I got the van back from them, I was spitting oil from my transfer case where the drive shaft goes in because they just didn't put it back together the way it was. Anyhow, what else? Oh, these are the gals I met in, matter of fact, let's do them a solid here. Apologize, fellas. Nobody wants to see me with my shirt off on Thanksgiving. I like this girl. She's a nice lady. There we are. Cool. All right, so I'm thankful that I have my health and I'm retaining some sort of a physique, even though I'm not really doing much about it. I got to get back into working out, really. Mr. Tick Bicycle Products, my boy Chad. At any rate, so there's all of that. So as I was thinking about that comment from that guy, and I thought about the idea, because I went to my Mike Z Design Facebook page, started looking at the work, I thought a little bit more about it, and it's funny because the way that guy worded the comment, he kind of reminded me of my cousin that I don't really talk to very much anymore. He could be a real piece of work, let's just say. But there's just a weird way that it's phrased. You're just doing high school level stuff. Like unimpressive is what he's saying. And I thought about that, and because I also thought about my cousin, because he said something like that to me a long time ago. And because when he was in high school, he knew guys that were building pretty high-end stuff in high school shop class. Pool tables, things like that. And that was my thought was like, well, wait a second. There's kids in high school building high-end stuff, or at least pretty nice stuff. So what are you saying? Anything could be a high school project, anything. So that was a weird, just somebody wants to be negative for the sake of being negative. It's just a jerk. This person's probably not very happy with themselves. And, but then my thought process is going as I think about it more. And I guess the point I want to make is motorcycle tanks. The point I want to make here is that it's not about doing the work. You could do the work. Anybody could do the work. It's about the concept. You have to have the idea. You got to be able to work it out and problem solve and invent something and design something first in your mind. And then what happened to me was over the years, I've developed this working style where I know what I need to know what my parameters are, and I can start working, and I can work at a pace that allows me to design on the fly. So, in particular with those boxes, right? A lot. Look, look at other people's van life stuff, van builds and things. This is a T-shirt from the gas station in Seaside Park, Southern Service. Used to be Gulf, and it became Luke Oil. And they tore the building down this past year. And I know the guys whose family it was, and they grew up there, and you guys have seen me there, and I've slept there in the van, and great people. So my hometown is Seaside Park, New Jersey. At any rate, it's about having the idea. So like on those boxes, you'll see a lot of people will, their construction methods are all different. And that's another thing I have to bring up. Those boxes I made, the high school level project, that's for storage in a van. It doesn't need to be anything that spectacular. But I did a few details on those boxes that a lot of people wouldn't do. This is the extra large. I wear large t-shirts, but the extra larges that'll be stacked here, these are the t-shirts I sleep in because they're not binding, you know. I have a whole system here. So, you know, like the ends where I put the handholds, I rabbited the sides and the bottom of that so that the side panels and the bottom of those boxes fit into that. So when you look at the ends of the boxes, all you see is the wood. And I glued and pin nailed all the boxes together, which is very strong, but then I went back and I countersunk and I put screws in. And then on the side panels where you could see them, I filled those screw holes with walnut plugs. And I did that. Well, for one thing, the contrasting color looks cool and it pops. Somebody else mentioned, why'd you do a different color? Because I wanted to. It is funny. Look, we only understand things from our own perspective, right? That's always the problem. So there's no point in arguing with people and getting offended by anything, because when they're making their comments, they are making it from their own perception. To that guy, you shouldn't see it. They should have used the same color plug. To me, you make it pop so you do notice it, so you notice somebody took the time to put a wood plug in there. It looks cooler. Why walnut? Because that was a piece of wood that I kicked with my toe. It was on the ground. That's the piece I'll use. Zero thought. I don't have that kind of time. You guys remember, I mentioned how like I was about $1,400 into that project, really, with real time and materials. I did not make any money on that project for what he paid me. He gave me $650. Now, to some people, those boxes are worth $650. That's fine. But, you know, it's just hard for me to do something like that. You can't ask me to do that project for that kind of money. I had to mill all those 2x4s. I bought, they were 16 foot. I bought 3 16 feet redwood 2x4s that I selected for vertical grain. I'm not using it all for that. I had to buy some of that for something else that you guys will see. But to mill all that stuff, to get it perfect, to glue up, to make those end panels, that's a tremendous amount of time. So I'm just saying, most people don't do that. You can't even see this anymore. This was Bigfoot walking with the UFO over him. That is wearing a t-shirt out right there. That's the definition of that. This has now become a work t-shirt. Nice thick cotton still. So the work t-shirts go right here. Cool t-shirts, work t-shirts, sleep t-shirts. This is back home. And so that's the thing. Knowing how to do it. And then, as I was saying, design on the fly. Like, I knew it was a box. I had to make the box. I knew he wanted a top on it. I didn't know I was going to set the top the way I did. Initially, I thought I was going to inset the top. But I realized once I started working with the material that a 9-inch tall box is going to give me, with the top and the bottom, that adds up to about an inch. It's going to give me 8 inches of height inside that box. That's massive for some sort of storage box that's inside your vehicle. You can just put a ton of stuff in there. And when you're sketching something out with somebody, you're not working with the material. You're just trying to get a concept together. Once I'm working with the material talks to me. The project starts talking to me. And it's like, well, now I could do this, I could do that. I knew I needed to support that top from wanting to sag at all. I had a 39-inch width space to put 2 boxes next to one another and 33 inches of depth. So those boxes were 19 3/8 of an inch wide, right? 1/2 inch on the sides. So my interior depth was 18 3/8 of an inch. That's a large span. You probably could have stood on that. You could have. It would have been strong enough, but it would have given it a little sag. So I wanted to support it, and I didn't want to put a solid stanchion in the middle to support that. I thought I could make something that slides. So I was going to make a one panel with 2 little ends on it, like a letter I, capital letter I. And I thought, well, I could slide that back and forth. And I went, wait a second, if I'm doing that, just make that a box, which I did. And that organically, that's just how that happened. And that's, you got to be able to think like that. And that's what made that project cool. Now, if I made it again, I could do it quicker, that's for sure. But now, subject, because we're still talking about this right now on that one project. The subject of weight comes up. You're adding all that weight. Every vehicle has a payload of how much weight it can carry. You should pay attention to that. You should also think about where your weight is. If you're really going to go off-road, because if you're going to go off-camber, meaning you drive down the road, it's flat. Off-camber means it's tilted this way. So the vehicle's leaning. If you're too top-heavy and you're too far off-camber, depending on what you do with your front wheels, it'd be real easy to roll your vehicle over on its side or roll it over completely. So you don't want a lot of top-heavy weight. So it's better to have weight, as low as possible. That's a thing. But the thing about what I'm building, it might look to you like it's, okay, I just watched a video yesterday, which, by the way, I watched it because I'm going to be building my own version. And what it is, I'm going to be building a toilet box for the van. It's going to be cool. But I watched a woman do it yesterday, and she used 3/4 inch plywood. She ripped down 2x4s to get one bys, 1.5 by 1.5 inch squares. So she added framing and 3/4 inch plywood to build this box. Now, this box wasn't intended to be for a vehicle. It was something she was going to mount in her cabin. But the point I wanted to make is, if you're using 3/4 inch plywood, you don't need framing. The plywood's thick enough. The framing eats up internal space that now you can't use, and it adds more weight. What I know is if you're pretty good at what you do, you could do it all with 1/2 inch and no framing. Dude, you just saved a ton of weight. Now, there's different types of plywood. There's multi-ply, we call apple ply, which has a bunch of little thin layers. That's the best stuff there is. It's also way more expensive, and it weighs more, and it's a lot stronger. I'm using a shop birch that only has maybe 5 or 6 layers to it. It's a lot lighter, But being 1/2 inch, it's still just thick enough for me to pre-drill and put screws in, and that's super strong. So, and making a wooden box out of 1/2 inch plywood that's light, this is a place I like to eat on my way to Bisbee from time to time. And it's just a perfect way to, in my opinion, to do things for like a van build. I'm staying away from plastic as much as I can because I've just had too many plastic containers break on me over the years. You pick it up, you drop it, you got stuff in, different temperatures. It's just not great. And it's got this weirdness to it because it's slick, you can't grab it enough. The plastic is rounded, you lose space, Like in my build, I've got vertical walls, flat floor, 90 degrees. So if I have 90-degree sides, I can lock everything in there better. It's smarter, in my opinion. So yeah, those boxes I made don't actually weigh that much. And uh, now you know. The reason I selected the redwood is because redwood is pretty lightweight stuff, and it started off as an inch and a half thick material. I milled it down. It's probably about an inch and an eighth or so thick. Perfect. Thick enough for those grab handles. Thick enough for me to put side screws into the end grain, long screws with glue. Those boxes are built very, very well. So that was my thought process. These are all the things I can't say to this person. I'm not going to type all that out to answer him, to explain. But a high school kid who's going to make those boxes on his own might not think of all those things. Now, a shop teacher, a good shop teacher would say, hey, if you're going to build this, here's a suggestion. If you do it this way, it might be better, and here's why. I just explained it to you. So yes, I would make a good high school shop teacher. That's another story. That's not a job you just snap your fingers and get. That is a job I consider doing. There's a whole packet a friend of mine who's a teacher gave me years ago. Maybe the term will come to me, but if you have decades of life experience, you could do this program with the school district, and you take a couple of these courses. They're like weekend courses, but they might be $800 a piece now, and you need so many of them. And you get this certification, and with that, plus your life experience, you can be a shop teacher. And then, so I started looking into it, and they pay you differently depending on what part of the city the school is in. The highest paying shop teachers are on the west side. I think they're making like $50 an hour or something. Keep in mind, that's all on the books. When people talk about hourly wage and everything, that's on the books, which means they're taking taxes out and everything else. I'm a handshake agreement guy, which, real quick, let me get back to the business license thing. The guy asked me if I had a business license. I don't, but I did. I did. I had a business license for years, back when I was doing this as a business. All right? What I do now is not a business. I'm basically retired. I'm like a semi-retired guy. I don't work full time. I don't work enough to be pulling in enough money, to be doing that. I'm not interested in it. I played that game for years, and I'm not doing it anymore. So for me now, it's just I meet somebody or somebody contacts me, they want something, we come to terms, and I do it. It's very, very simple. One-man band. But that means oftentimes people have to be patient with me. You guys know the movie this came from. It's the Blues Brothers, man. So everything I've been folding here, there's a story behind it. I literally could pull one t-shirt and probably talk for a half hour. Why I bought it, what it means to me, what I've done in it. Anyhow, that's I guess that's about all I wanted to say about that one guy's comment. But I did the other video, the follow-up video. I did 3 or 4 2 shorts and 2 longer videos on those boxes. And one of the fellas in there, in one of the comments, mentioned, puttying the holes, and I forget what the other comment he made was, but I decided to address that in the video called Time is Money. And he commented on that video, and he apologized, and he said he was sorry, he didn't mean to get under my skin or anything. And I pointed out to him, you didn't get under my skin. Thank you. You actually gave me inspiration for the video. That's like winning the lottery. And then he got it. And he was like, dude, that's awesome because you're one of my favorite YouTubers, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I'm kind of saying today in this video. I'm encouraging you guys to this skate shop up in Santa Cruz. Amazing. I got teary-eyed going in there because all the old skateboards and everything just reminded me of my childhood. Keep up with the comments, man. And, you know, this could be a fun game for you guys where you get to see if I end up using your comment as inspiration to do a video. I don't often mention the names of people because it's a weird thing for me. For one thing, a lot of you guys aren't using your real names. Some of you are, as far as like what your YouTube channel is. And not everybody wants to be named in a video. So right now, my thought process on it is I'm not mentioning the names. It's hard for me to retain that anyhow. This is an old Calvin Klein black t-shirt that's like, look at this. It's I could, look at that. I could kill something with this. I could shoot an arrow, you know, kill a deer with this shirt. This is like my superhero t-shirt. It fits me skin tight. I don't wear this shirt very often. I took it out the other day to wear and mean something else. I've had this shirt probably since the 90s. It's crazy, man. And yeah, I know. I had a bunch of old ladies one day in a laundromat tell me I'd make a good wife one day because I was sitting there folding my laundry. In the Marines, you have to fold all the shirts to be 6 inches by 6 inches square. And it's in your drawer. And they come in with a tape measure. My buddy George, Spartan Frameworks. Great guy, great guy. Check his stuff out. He's back to building custom motorcycle frames, 4130, great welds, really crazy front ends, man. He builds some wild front ends, leaf spring front ends, really cool stuff. Chopper front ends, he'll do anything. Yeah. So rags I use for all kinds of things here. Oh. So I've got this old girlfriend of mine who's married now with kids, and they're great people. They came out to visit me a few years ago. My friend Emily, she bought me 2 pairs of these socks. I think these are all wigwams. And I don't often wear them in shoes, but I'll wear them around the house. And this is crazy. These go back to the 1990s. They're still fat, thick socks, and I love them, but they remind me of her. So it's weird, like sentimental stuff. A pair of friggin' socks. I'm a weirdo. Oh, both pairs are in here. It's my underwear. Don't worry, no track marks. I've never had track marks in my underwear. That is friggin' disgusting. If you have track marks in your underwear, that means you're not wiping your ass well enough, people. So on this Thanksgiving Day, let me just remind you, because a bunch of you are going to be in the toilet later, please clean your ass properly. If you're close enough to the sink, you know, crack the sink a little bit, get some toilet paper, run some water on there. Can't believe it. You know, you got to mention this to people. If you're an adult, you got track marks in your underwear, this is me giving you grief. That's ridiculous, man. Never in my life. I mean, I think just a couple of years ago, I threw away underwear I had from the Marines. You know what I'm saying? Old underwear, man, because I take care of my stuff. I really don't need to buy anything. I own everything I'm ever going to need. This is tough. I've got 2 this is the thing with these little things that stick to everything. I got to pull it off and drop it on the floor and then vacuum afterwards. These look like they match. There's 4 of these socks, but I noticed that they're actually in a pair. I try to pair things up properly. You know what I'm talking about. I know the ladies do. By the way, guys, a little trick for you. If you don't want to do laundry and your wife, your girlfriend's on your case about doing laundry, all you have to do is put 1 red sock or 1 red shirt or something in with her whites one time, and you will never be asked to do laundry ever again. Because I know that, you'll see here, there's no whites. This is the only thing, and it doesn't really even count because it's not pure white. But I don't have anything that's white, really. You know why? Because I've turned a bunch of my crap pink before over the years, and I'm not doing that anymore. So now I can just wash everything together, and there's no problems. Although, I wash my, it's a vlog, man. It's life. My towels, underwear, socks, and these rags I use for different stuff around the house or whatever, that all gets in one wash. T-shirts and other stuff, I would do in another thing. And part of that is I wear a lot of black T-shirts. And if I wash towels or flannels together in the T-shirts, you still might get like a fuzz on there, which I don't like. So that's the only sort of sifting, whatever the word is, that I do when I'm doing laundry. Well, that's a stretched out pair of boxers, huh? This is my fat days, I guess. These are Thanksgiving boxers. These are the boxers you wear on Thanksgiving. I am not doing anything today for Thanksgiving. There's a chance, but over the years, people have slowed down asking me to do anything because they know I'm not going to show up anyhow. But my friend and her son I think they're going to go out to a Korean restaurant or something. So there's a chance I might hook up with them, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with being alone. I'm used to it. Anyhow, I guess that's about it. I can keep this kind of short. Let me just think here for a moment. I covered that. Showed you that stuff. You've seen enough of me folding laundry. It's another pair of socks from Emily. Thanks, Emily. And these here are wool socks from the military. These are U.S. government issue wool socks. Very warm. They look tiny because they shrink, but they'll stretch for your feet. How bored are you right now? So, what's going to happen now is I'm going to keep doing the Sunday night chat because that's fun. And that pretty much sums up the week. And then throughout the week, whatever I'm doing, if I'm inspired to bring something up, I talked about Elvis yesterday, and that was kind of fun. And then there's going to be the viewer inspired or comment inspired videos. So Sunday night chat, viewer inspired video, comment inspired video, and then just normal stuff, the woodworking, the bike stuff. It's all over the place, but it's kind of fun. It's been kind of fun to do all this stuff for you guys. That's all I have to say. So thank you. Thanksgiving, we're all supposed to tell one another, I suppose, or at least ponder what we're thankful for. And I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for, again, my health. I got pretty good health. And I'm thankful for the people in my life. I'm thankful for you guys and YouTube with the social media because I didn't really get into that in that Sunday night chat that I wanted to, but it really did kind of save my life because being alone and not having an outlet or anybody to talk to or anything, you can get yourself in some pretty dark places. I did mention how in the past I've been pretty dark, suicidal, all that stuff. A few of those times were an experiment for me to see how dark I could go. Yeah, even with a gun in your mouth, I don't want to freak you out being Thanksgiving and everything. Because I knew I could pull myself out of it. I did it as a experiment, so I knew what it was to be that low, in that dark of a place, and then be able to pull myself out of it. And I've done that multiple times. Because I've known other people that have struggled through life and have said to me that they've gone through it. They've opened up to me. And I needed to know what that was. I needed to be in that dark place so that I could be more empathetic to them. And now I know. And that's why when I tell people you can get through this, I know because I did. It's like when I talk about people losing weight or whatever, I know because I've been there and I did it. Starting a business, just start doing stuff. I know because I did it. When I tell people to get on YouTube and just start doing it because it could turn into something, I know because I'm doing it. When somebody's like, "Oh man, I wish I could build a bike like that," well, you can. I know you can because I did it. So I'm just going to keep doing things to prove to people it can be done. That's another kind of like subplot of this channel is me doing stuff. Hey, I didn't know how to work on my Astrovan. People treat me like I'm some sort of Astrovan guru, like I'm a mechanic or something. I'm not. But I know that I can swap out my front end or my rear end or swap out my fuel injection system. And I know I do all those things because I did it. And I keep doing it. A lot of stuff I've done multiple times already. I didn't know I could, do a cool van build. So I decided, let me see if I could do that. So you know what I did? I did it. Still working on it. So my thing is it's a thought process. Getting back to the carpentry and everything. When people want me to build them something cool, you know what this goes back to? This goes all the way back to, I'll never forget it. It was boot camp, Marine Corps boot camp, Parris Island, South Carolina. This would have been probably in November. Yeah, I graduated boot camp, meaning I earned the Eagle Globe and Anchor on 15 November 1985. And a day or so before that, our senior drill instructor was giving us this little talk. And he said to us, he says, you're about to earn your Eagle Globe and Anchor. You're now going to be Marines. You went through this thing. Not a lot of people do it. Not a lot of people are able to do it. A lot of people fail. He said that this should turn, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what he said, but I remember the gist of it, which was that this experience at this stage in your life, being a young man, should turn a gear in your brain basically and program you to be able to say yes to anything in life. It doesn't matter. Any challenge that comes your way, you are now no longer afraid to go for it. That was maybe the number one thing I got out of becoming a Marine. That's why I recommend the service to everybody, especially the Marine Corps. You go in there, you don't know. Now, in my mind, I wasn't afraid of going to boot camp, and I wasn't afraid when I was in there, because in my mind, I said to myself, thousands of people came here before me and did every single thing that they're telling me to do, and if they could do it, I could do it. But not everybody's wired that way with their brains. So, for me, that was an easy thing. But a lot of people were afraid of all, I've told the stories before, but when he said that, something into my brain clicked and I felt relieved. I was like, oh yeah, he's right. I just did all this stuff, 14 weeks down here, whatever it was, August 26th to November 15th. So you guys can do the math. And that's what I've always had in my brain. So there's a weird thing, at least the way my mind works. If I've been tasked with a project, something to do that makes me a little, feel a little anxiety in here, I go after it and I accomplish that goal. It makes me feel accomplished. It makes me feel like I did something. So, and that's an uplifting thing for my spirit. It's important, is all I'm saying. There's a few towels in here, and that's all that's left. I bought this basket so many years ago, man. At any rate, that's all I have to say. I'm all over, I know, as usual, the weave. But I just want to leave you with this, okay? So, again, with the channel, you're going to see these things happening. So I'll start creating that thing, as I said already. I'm not going to go over it again. And hopefully we'll all grow together and keep getting along, and the channel will grow. It's fine. Enjoy your day. Eat as much as you want. Don't. I know I'm always talking about I'm not eating a lot these days. I'm trying to cut some weight. So I'm a little bit chubby, I suppose, and I got to work out more and build muscle, all that good stuff. But today's not the day to be thinking about that stuff. Have a good time. Hopefully you guys are with family, and hopefully you all are having a good time. It's going to be interesting for some of you, right? Because the election just happened. It's got to be weird for some of you. But I hope you all are having a good time. And you're wearing your sweatpants today. And remember, clean your ass. Very important. Keep your ass clean. Nobody likes a dirty ass. And have a great day. Be kind to one another. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy Thanksgiving.